Hello everyone, myself Sivakrishna. In my previous video, I did explain how we can invoke the VBA code in UiPath Studio. So I have taken three examples like refreshing the pivot tables, copy pasting the data, and filtering the data and giving the color, right? So in this video, I am going to explain how we can give the input from the UiPath Studio to the VBA method and then how we can execute. So let's get started. These are the methods that I have created in my previous video. So if you see the Asia data, so every time it will going to filter the Asia data and then it will copy and paste in the separate sheet, right? So in this video, I am going to explain how we can pass this continent data to the method and then accordingly this VBA method will going to filter the data and do the copy pasting, right? So like in the C#, .NET and Java and Python, when you create a method, we will have a method parameters option is there. Yes. In the same way, in VBA code also we have a method parameters concept is there. So at the time of creating the method, we will pass the method parameters. When you are calling the method, then we will mention the values, right? So let me add the method parameters here. I am passing the continent name as a method parameter and I am going to replace this Asia value with the method parameter and I am saving the file. Then I am going to the UiPath Studio, taking the Excel application scope and mentioning the input file path, and to execute the VBA code I am using the Invoke VBA activity. So here we need to mention the VBA code file path and then we need to mention the method name. In the Invoke VBA activity we have one property entry method parameter. So here we need to mention the method parameters in the list form. So in the method parameters, so the country name I am going to mention as a Latin America. So what will happen? So this method will filter the Latin America data and then with that data it will create the separate sheet. So let me execute this process and see the output. The process got completed. So let me open the input file. Yeah, the another sheet got created with Latin America data. Let me show you another example. Africa data color change method. We are filtering the Africa data and then we are giving the red color, right? So here I am mentioning the method parameters in the same way, replacing this Africa name with method parameter and save. So in the method name I'm going to mention the method name as Africa data color change, and in the entry method parameters I am going to mention the continent name as Europe, right? So now when I execute it will filter the Europe data and then it will give the red color. The process got completed. So let me go to the project folder. Yeah, so the Europe data got filtered and then red color got applied, right? So let me take another example by taking multiple method parameters. So in the Africa data color change we have mentioned the continent. So in the same way I am going to mention the color as well in the method parameter. So here I am going to mention the parameter name as color code as long. So if you see the color, it is in the numeric format, so that's the reason I mentioned the data type as long. So I am going to replace this color code with this numeric value and save. So while mentioning the entry method parameter, so we need to follow the same order. So to get this color code, so we can do one thing. We can open the Excel and view record macro, green color, stop macro, view macro, edit, and then we will have a code for that. I am taking this value, right? Let me close the Excel file. Let me execute the process and see the output. So let me open the Excel file. Yeah, the Europe data got filtered and the green color has been applied. So this way we can work with VBA and we can pass the dynamic values to the VBA, then we can execute.